A whisper echoes across centuries, carried on winds that have swept through deserts, mountains, and forgotten roads. These winds bring with them traces of ancient footsteps, silent testimonies carved into stone, reminding us that stories once spoken in distant lands still breathe today. For thousands of years, people have pondered whether the sacred accounts of Scripture were grounded in real history or mythic poetry. Yet scattered across the world are landmarks whose silent endurance challenges doubt and calls forth deeper wonder. These places stand not as relics of imagination, but as solid anchors of reality, etched into landscapes untouched by time's eroding grasp. They rise from sands, valleys, ruins, and hills, quietly proclaiming that the ancient stories they witnessed were lived, not dreamed. This journey begins along the coast of Israel, where waves strike against remnants of a harbor built by a king and remembered by a stone carrying a governor's name. Caesarea Maritima guards its secrets carefully, yet reveals them boldly. Among its weathered stones rests a remarkable inscription confirming the existence of Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor who ordered the crucifixion of Jesus. This carved declaration bridges scripture with history, anchoring an account often questioned but never forgotten. Far from legend, the inscription stands untouched by interpretation, simply stating a name, a title, and a position that once commanded authority. It transforms a figure often treated as symbolic into a figure undeniably grounded in recorded governance. As the sun sets over the Mediterranean, shadows stretch across foundations shaped during Herod's reign. Each block whispers fragments of forgotten commands, transactions, and trials, hinting at countless moments swallowed by time yet echoing through this preserved landmark. Traveling inward toward Jerusalem, a monumental project nears completion, promising visitors an immersive walk through pathways once trodden by ancient pilgrims. This renewed route leads from the historic Pool of Siloam to the revered Western Wall. The journey will allow pilgrims to retrace steps walked by countless worshippers, carrying offerings, prayers, and burdens. It invites modern travelers into a passageway layered with centuries of reverence, sorrow, thanksgiving, and celebration, still marked by powerful echoes of devotion. The careful excavation reveals stairs smoothed by ancient feet, channels once filled with water, and fragments of pottery that hint at daily life in the bustling city. Each discovery connects present observers with those who lived and worshipped in Jerusalem's Sacred Heart. The route's unveiling not only revives the memory of rituals long past, but also testifies to the city's enduring significance. It demonstrates that faith journeys once believed distant and unreachable remain traceable beneath layers of soil and time. Moving eastward, the fortified city of Jericho rises from dust and legend, its ruins older than empires that once believed themselves eternal. Archaeologists marvel at its age, tracing settlement layers that stretch back thousands of years beyond written records. Jericho's most bewildering signature is found not in its age, but in the mysterious collapse of its walls. Excavations reveal stones fallen outward, as though pushed by an unseen force, aligning with a description preserved in the biblical account of Joshua's conquest. The outward fall contradicts natural patterns of destruction typically caused by invading armies or earthquakes. Instead, it mirrors a narrative describing walls tumbling at a divine command, making this ruin both a historical inquiry and a testament to enduring mystery. Stones scattered in unnatural patterns invite debate but refuse dismissal. They stand as fragments that challenge assumptions, awaken curiosity, and echo a moment recounted with dramatic clarity in Scripture, merging archaeology with faith's deepest questions. Within these landmarks, evidence does not shout but speaks with firm, quiet authority. Each site affirms that the ancient texts were rooted not in mythic invention but in experiences set within real cities, governed by real leaders, shaped by real communities. The journey continues through regions where prophets spoke, kings ruled, and ordinary people lived out extraordinary destinies. Their footprints, though faded, remain imprinted upon landscapes that carry unbroken memories through centuries of rise and decline. The Sea of Galilee reflects shimmering reminders of miracles recounted through generations. Its calm waters have swallowed storms, carried fishermen, and witnessed teachings that transformed history. Today, the shoreline appears strikingly similar to the descriptions recorded long ago. Nearby stands Capernaum, a village revived through archaeological work revealing homes, synagogues, and basalt structures tied directly to accounts of early ministry. Stones etched by ancient tools preserve stories of community, struggle, and profound encounters with truth. Walking its paths brings an uncanny sense of stepping into Scripture itself. The foundations align with descriptions preserved in sacred texts, creating a tangible window into life during the earliest years of a movement that would reshape civilizations. Further south lies Bethlehem, birthplace of a prophecy fulfilled in a humble setting. Excavations reveal layers of settlement consistent with ancient records, uncovering structures, water systems, and fields that align with accounts surrounding the city's enduring significance. The fields where shepherds once kept watch stretch quietly under open skies. Their simplicity contrasts with the monumental weight carried by stories tied to this region, demonstrating how humble spaces can cradle world-changing events. In Nazareth, discoveries of first-century dwellings offer rare glimpses into daily life during the era when the town was small, remote, and easily overlooked. Yet it later gained prominence through a narrative that would echo through ages. The combination of wine presses, household tools, and courtyard structures unearthed in this region creates a vivid picture of a community both ordinary and deeply significant. These findings align seamlessly with descriptions preserved within biblical narratives. Across the Judean wilderness, Qumran stands silent, its cracked walls watching over the caves where the Dead Sea Scrolls were hidden. These ancient manuscripts preserve scripture older than many civilizations, affirming the textual reliability of sacred writings. The scrolls provide verification of passages and prophecies recorded centuries before the birth of pivotal figures. Their preservation challenges assumptions about literary transmission and reinforces the continuity of messages carried faithfully through generations. Nearby rises Masada, the formidable desert stronghold where tragedy and defiance intertwined. Its ruins, shaped by Herod's ambition and later by desperate resistance, mirror accounts described meticulously in both historical writings and modern archaeological interpretations. Masada's storerooms, palaces, and defensive walls paint a picture of grandeur and sorrow intertwined. While not strictly a biblical site, its proximity and era connected to the broader tapestry surrounding the region's spiritual and political heritage. Northward, the ancient city of Dan reveals monumental gates dating back to Abraham's era, providing one of the earliest structural references for patriarchal narratives. These gates illustrate that cities described in early scripture were real and strategically significant. The site also contains an inscription referencing the House of David, offering rare extra-biblical confirmation of the famed king's dynasty. This artifact bridges archaeology and ancient monarchy, grounding legendary figures in verifiable historical context. Nearby, Megiddo rises in layered ruins that have witnessed countless battles across millennia. Known as the prophesied battleground of Armageddon, its remains reveal origins of warfare, trade, and political tension recorded throughout scriptural and historical texts. The city's vast strategic importance is supported by palaces, stables, and sophisticated water systems that speak of immense activity. These remains solidify Megiddo's role as a focal point within numerous accounts, including prophecies concerning future conflict. Farther south, Beersheba emerges with wells and fortifications tied to patriarchal narratives. Excavations reveal urban planning reflective of biblical descriptions, including impressive gateway complexes and water systems that echo stories of alliances, oaths, and promises. These sites collectively testified to a world where the events described in Scripture unfolded with full historical context. Each discovery supports a larger narrative that blends faith, archaeology, and enduring human experience. Mount Carmel, associated with prophetic confrontation, continues to overlook sweeping landscapes unchanged in essence for thousands of years. While physical evidence of specific events remains elusive, the region's geography aligns perfectly with accounts of gatherings and dramatic challenges. The Jordan River flows with ancient significance, its winding path cutting through stories of deliverance, renewal, and transformation. Its waters remain a living symbol, inspiring countless travelers who seek connection to moments recorded in sacred tradition. Traveling deeper into the Galilee region, Chorazin's ruins preserve basalt homes and synagogues referenced in strong warnings spoken centuries ago. The city's remnants stand as a stark reminder of messages proclaimed yet unheeded. In the southern deserts, the ancient fortress city of Arad emerges in excavated layers revealing shrines, houses, and inscriptions. These structures confirm that the region's strategic importance mentioned in Scripture was grounded in real political and cultural influence. The Negev's vast wilderness preserves trails once walked by wanderers seeking promise and direction, though windswept and harsh. Its landscapes reflect conditions described with poignant precision in accounts of endurance, testing, and revelation. The ancient city of Hazor, referenced repeatedly in biblical warfare narratives, reveals massive destruction layers consistent with recorded battles. Its ruins offer compelling archaeological alignment with descriptions preserved in ancient texts. Nearby, the Pool of Bethesda offers insight into ancient healing traditions and urban design. Excavations have revealed structures and water systems matching accounts of gatherings, desperation, and profound transformation. Together, these 18 landmarks form a network of evidence that history, faith, and archaeology intertwine more closely than skeptics once believed. They demonstrate that stories handed down through generations remain tethered to real places etched into Earth's terrain. Through these preserved sites, the past refuses to remain silent. Stones, inscriptions, gates, and ruins speak with undeniable clarity, affirming that the events described were neither fabricated nor detached from reality. The endurance of these landmarks extends an invitation to look deeper, to consider that the ancient world was filled with unfolding destinies whose echoes still resonate today. Their presence whispers that truth endures even when centuries shift and empires crumble. In their silent witness, these places reinforce belief, not through emotion alone, but through verifiable presence. They bridge the gap between text and terrain, between faith and fact, between ancient narrative and timeless relevance. As each landmark stands beneath the same sky that once watched over kings, shepherds, prophets, and pilgrims, they remind us that history and spirituality converge in powerful harmony. What was spoken has lived. What was lived still speaks. And in these enduring stones, we discover that the ancient prophecies were not mere stories, they were footprints of a journey that continues to shape the world, guiding hearts toward the truth carried across time's unbroken horizon.